What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Hungry Road. My name is Eric and thank you for tuning in. So today we're going to continue with that little three-part series I was doing where I don't have the camera in the restaurant with me. I'm going to tell you about my experience at these restaurants I visited in Prague, Prague of the Czech Republic. So this is part two. So maybe the first time I tried to go to a restaurant and there were no reservations, and the manager hooked me up with a spot for the next day. Well, that's where we're at today. So today is going to be Kampa Park, or Kampa Park. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but I'm just going to say Kampa Park because I'm American, and that's what we do, is butcher other people's languages. So yes, Nicole, she's like pretty much my homie now. I haven't talked to her, I was just saying. So I tried to go to the restaurant, I believe it was Friday, and she said, I don't have anything for you today, but tomorrow, 6 o'clock, will that work for you? She was like, I was like, yes, of course. She was like, bet. She said, but you have to give the table up at 8 o'clock. I said, all right, that's pretty serious business. And when I got there for dinner, the server was like, you got to give the table up by 8 o'clock. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I was actually, and long story short, I think I left at like 8:30 or 8:15 or something. I don't know. I should check and see when my last picture was taken, because I was definitely there longer than 8 o'clock, but it was no big deal. I was definitely getting nervous, like they're gonna kick me out. I'm gonna be able to finish my meal. Everything was fine. So I took some notes the day of when I was in the restaurant in the moment. So I think it's important I read you what I wrote there versus just trying to like recreate whatever I had here months later. So restaurant is huge with many different faces and areas. I do remember that. So you gotta walk like down. It's right on the water. They even offer like private boat tours and stuff. It's pretty crazy. You can spend a lot of money here. I did see a Ferrari parked outside the restaurant, which is kind of what made me go down there and check it out. Come to think of it, it might have been the restaurant's owner, but we'll get to him in a second. But anyway, yes, you walk down, you walk like up this little like path or whatever, and it's like super private. I think it's attached to a hotel, but you can go in and go into the restaurant. I actually didn't do that at all. They had me go on the side, so they let me to sit right along. Is it the Charles River? Is it? One second. The Charles Bridge is what you can see off in the distance. I hope I have pictures I can show you. But so I like walked around the side of the restaurant, went to a separate entrance, and then you go downstairs and around, and boom. So now I'm sitting and looking right out at the water at the bridge. Absolutely beautiful. At night it lights up. You see people taking pictures and stuff. It's really cool. Very nice ambiance there. Music was low, lit, nothing crazy. The windows were a little drafty, so I wore long sleeves because it definitely got a little cold up in there. Alright, so now I'm going to tell you about the restaurant a little bit. So the owner's name is Niels Jebens. I have him pulled up right here. Former Royal Norwegian Navy SEAL and Deputy Director of Austria's premium casino chain, got seduced by Prague's charm in the 90s. It was a beautiful city, a total green field, just too good to let go. Niels Jebens describes his decision to leave previous career and open his first successful restaurant. So far, so good, man. And the executive chef is Marek Radsch. So it's like R-A-D. It's on the screen for you, don't worry about it. The art of cooking consists of two things: premium raw materials and the right inspiration. You got that right. Inventing new meals or transforming raw materials into finished dishes is my love affair, and I try to pamper our guests as much as possible. He did very well. So again, that's kind of what my experiment was I was doing here in Prague. I tried to come here. All three of these places I'm going to, the next one you'll know. All three of these places were on the Michelin Guide app. They're not all Michelin starred. The last one we're going to go to, I'll mention it later, is a Michelin starred restaurant. This one here, Kampa Park, is not, and neither was Vltava. I forget how to pronounce it. They were just like honorable mentions, but Vltava was the cheapest between this one and Kampa Park. Between that one and this one, Kampa Park. So as I was eating the food and experiencing the restaurant, I could sense and feel and taste noticeable differences to why one was more expensive than the other. So I think we can get into the food now. So this menu was pretty cool. They're having an a la carte menu, of course. It's super high-end food. But it's not over the top by any means. When I was there, they was running this lobster special where like everything on the menu was like lobster based. I'm like, I'm from New England. I know where there's lobster, so I wouldn't go waste my time with lobster there. Maybe the lobster in Prague is different, you know, different side of the planet. All good. And of course, they have a tasting menu. So the tasting menu is still the same as I'm looking at it right now as when I had it. I believe I came here about February 21st, around there sometime. It's April 1st right now. Yeah, it'll take a little while to get my videos out. I'm sorry, guys. But let's go through what I ate. Alright, guys, the Amuse Bouche. Now, it's hard to describe what this thing was. It's like a really flaky thing, and then like almost like a yogurty looking thing, but my notes tell me phenomenal, easily can taste the price between today and yesterday. Now yesterday was Vltava, no shame to them, I'm just being honest with my review. Well balanced, well seasoned, good flavors, light, crispy exterior, and the sauce just went crazy. It was so delicious and so well balanced. And balance is gonna be a word I use a lot because you can always have something that's a little too salty or too sweet or too savory or too hot, too cold. But balance is key. Life's about balance. But let's move on to the first course. Alright, guys, we have the first course of the evening. This is going to be an octopus carpaccio with yuzu gel, pomegranate, cider dressing, and chives. Now, it looks gorgeous, like 4 little thinly sliced pieces of octopus. Now, let's read my notes here. So flavorful, light, citrusy, a little sweet, but the octopus was still so surprisingly tender even though it was sliced so thin. Not being much of an octopus eater, I think I prefer this style of eating octopus versus having like big giant tentacles like cut that are grilled or whatever. I could tolerate a lot more than I would like eating the tender whatever thing, but again, very nicely prepared dish, very beautiful looking, aromatic. It was nice. I really like this one. Alright, guys, the second course of the menu here is going to be a veal tartare with black truffle aioli, quail egg, and toasted brioche. We're kind of out in the weeds now doing all kind of craziness, but a very beautiful looking dish. Let me read my notes on this one here. So, second course, so visually appealing, and the truffle smell was super aromatic. It went right up your nose as soon as it came across your face and hit the table. I literally laughed when I took a bite because it was that incredible. Like the cream was so creamy, the tartare was also creamy, and it was just like it just melted. Everything just literally melted in your mouth. Alright, so truffle cream is heavy with truffle flavors. So if you don't like truffle, I feel sorry for you. The veal is tender, succulent, soft, and the dish was excellent. The bread is much softer than it leads on to be since it was toasted. The texture of the dish can get to you after a little bit of chewing. That's what I'm saying. It was also creamy. He supposed to like kind of spread it on the bread, and that bread gives you a little bit of a crunch. Kind of breaks up things. The quail egg provided quite the show when it exploded. But I don't think it added much flavor to the dish, to be honest. So yes, some things are theatrics, some things are for flavor, some things are for color, you know, but another well put together dish. Let's move on to the third. Alright, the third course. Wild line caught sea bass. So someone's out there with a line. With artichoke risotto, semi-dried tomatoes, and basil beurre blanc with organic trout roe. So we got some eggs on top there. And here we go. Blown away by how simple yet complex the dishes are here. I love the crispy skin on the sea bass. Risotto had the slightest bit of crunch. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. The flavors were mild and just worked so well together. Filling dish as well. Starting to get a little full here. But I don't like the risotto. Felt more like the star of the show than the sea bass. It kind of got lost since it had such a light flavor. And that can happen a lot with like fish dishes because they are so light. You know, I don't want to say risotto's a strong ingredient. Because sea bass is, fish, a lot of fishes are just light. You know, salmon probably has one of the heaviest flavors because it's so salmony. Sea bass is light. Like, what does sea bass taste like? I'll wait. Exactly. Risotto takes on the flavors of everything else that's in it. So if you put a lot of seasoning and butter and whatever else is in there, it can outshine the sea bass. So I guess that kind of makes sense there. But again, still a very well put together dish. We get to the fourth item on the menu here. This is going to be a Japanese Kobe beef strip loin with sauteed chanterelles, Hasselback potatoes and green peppercorn sauce. This dish visually left a lot to be desired. It was literally just a steak on my plate with the cross section of grills, like spiral potatoes and some carrots. Like, it looked pretty traditional, pretty straightforward. I get it, but like the last few dishes were so like visually appealing and like colorful and so much going on. This is like a pretty steak and potatoes and vegetables, pretty straight up. It was very strange course. Like, so anyway, it was like a weird turn in this menu here, but it was fine. So this is what we got here. Kobe beef was tender, flavorful, but there was some fatty pieces still attached to the meat. Come on, man. If I'm paying this much money, please take them fat pieces off. The meat definitely melted in your mouth. The spiral potatoes were delicious, cooked well, and served as a good complement to the steak. Carrots were fine, nothing to write home about, but I kept coming back to that beef. Kobe beef, Japanese Kobe. If it's Wagyu, Kobe. I mean, Kobe is like a species of cow, so it's Wagyu. Then you got like everybody else. It was so good and so flavorful, but I was a bit upset of the amount of fat I had to cut off of my steak. I feel if I'm paying this kind of money, I should be able to eat everything on my plate. You could eat the fat. Like, why? No, don't eat the fat. So yes, that pretty much sums it up right there. I pretty much said all I need to say about this dish. It was good, but that's the end of the succulent courses. Let's move on to dessert. Alright, they kind of kept the courses pretty straightforward here. There was no petite four, there was no pre-dessert, there was no chef's compliments to the table or anything like that. It was like the Amuse Bouche and the 5 courses. They kept it straight and narrow. No big deal, but a lot of tasting menus usually have some extra going on in there. But let's get to the last dish. This was the dark chocolate tart with passion fruit toffee and banana sorbet. Here are my notes. Dessert was extraordinary. Honestly, my favorite course of the evening. Rightfully so. There were surprises, flavors, fillingness, visual appeal, and it was executed so well. The chocolate was rich, but not too sweet. The ice cream was super fruity and had a natural sweetness. This was so well done. I do remember this dish. It was just phenomenal. It was a great way to wrap up, to end on a high note for this 5-course tasting menu here. It was a good time. I really enjoyed my dinner here. Now we get to the prices here. So 5 courses was 3,850 Czech krones. That translates to about $166.61. I think it was worth it for the 6 courses I've had. Was there any bread? I don't even think there was bread that came with it. I also did the wine pairing, and like I said in my previous video, I'm going to stop doing the wine pairings. This one here was another 2,000 krones, so that's like another 80 bucks. I could have gotten a bottle of wine for like 40, maybe 50, maybe 60 bucks, and still had just as much fun. I understand like pairing a wine with the dish, but like I just can't make that connection because I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of how an analogy for wine pairing and food pairing. Like, it's not like the inside of a car and the interior of a car and the paint. It's not like matching shoes with a shirt. It's different. It just really is different. I don't quite understand it, but it works. I don't have that culinary expertise, because I know, like, when you, for example, if you brush your teeth and then drink some water right after it, you get ridiculous amount of cold, fluoride flavors and stuff like that. So I believe that's what the wine is supposed to do for the food. You're supposed to get like different notes and stuff. I just never grasp. I never pick them up. Yes, I can tell when a wine has been breathing versus is not being breathed, or has not been breathing, or is freshly opened. Is what it is. So yes, my total price was like $245 for this dinner. Excellent. Like I said, the night before, I think it was like 150 or 160, but the flavors here were just a bit more elevated than they were at Vltava, and they're both excellent restaurants. Kampa Park, I really enjoyed my time here. Thank you for having me and for letting me, have my camera in there. It was being all awkward and stuff. And Nicole, big shout out to you, Nicole. Thank you for getting me a slot there. I really appreciate you. She's really sweet. Make sure you say hi to her. If you tell her I sent you, she probably not even gonna know who I was. But that was restaurant number 2 on my Prague, Czech Republic, I guess, fine dining tour. Friday and Saturday are covered. Now we have Sunday. That's tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but you know what I mean. I'm very excited to bring you that one because that one truly knocked my socks off. But yeah, man. So this is another storytelling video. I'm gonna have 2 more because I went to 2 more Michelin star restaurants while I was in Europe, and it'll be just like this. I'll actually have video instead of just the pictures, because I thought about doing this thing later after I filmed it or whatever. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. First I see my face, you made this far in the video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. I appreciate you. Again, thank you very much. Remember, there's never an empty tank or empty stomach on this road. We are still marching toward 10,000 subscribers. I have a giveaway coming when we get there, but we're still a little ways away. Maybe not even 60% there yet, but it is what it is. I'm still having fun with this, so it is what it is. Alright guys, stay safe, live hungry.